What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with another Danmaji video, and we haven't really talked Uncharted Battlefield. I've been working on it a little bit here and there, but I think we finally have enough units in the game. I think we have enough, just general units in general, that this is finally a doable situation. Now, if you're not familiar with basically how this works, essentially you can only use a unit once in this event. So once you've used a unit, it's no longer in play. Now, you can go back and change things. You can run an event and then go back and rerun it or whatever and unlock those units for later use. Case in point, well, sort of case in point. Let's go back and talk about the first level here, okay? Level number 1. So as we go down here, you'll see that it gives you specific requirements. So with level 1, we can use any unit. Same with level 2. Once we get to battle 3, it's asking for some pretty specific stuff, and we'll kind of get to that. But you always want to be kind of considering what you want for your final match. So when we kind of get to the final battle here, I'm going to need 3 top tier of the fire units, 3 top tier wind, 3 top tier electric, and 3 top tier ground. Or, well, ground, then electric. I swear those 2 are backwards, but whatever. The colors really should be the other way around. But nevertheless, you have, quite a few things here that you can kind of, wrap your brain around. And because of that, you could pretty much gauge what you want to do with the fights. Now, as far as level 1 goes, what I always do is I open this up with as few units as possible. So the team that I initially ran here was actually just the original SR Bell and the original SR Hestia. Bell's level 50, Bell's level 60, Hestia's level 50. We need just a tiny bit of, a little bit of extra oomph here, so I ran him with this dagger. Let's go ahead and see if we can, should be able to let us run this, because we're on level 3. So if we click level 1, and we go to prepare to attack, it'll let me use this spell. Now, the really nice part here is if I used another unit here, I would actually be able to drop that unit off, basically rebeat the event, and then have that unit unlocked. But let's go ahead and run this real quick, because this has been really, really, really easy. The biggest downside to Uncharted Battlefield, and it really is a true downside, is that you are auto-running. You really have no control over what your units are doing, which does get kind of annoying at times. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes the AI does ridiculous things. It'll get stuck in a wall and waste a lot of time. If you guys watched the stream last week, we dealt with that a lot, where I'll show you my team for battle number 2, where it's a viable team, but because one person on the team would go just run into a wall for 20 seconds, we couldn't beat it. So you do need a bit of patience, and you do need the willingness to just kind of restart levels a couple times over in order to really take advantage of this. Now, the nice part is by the time we get the anniversary, we'll probably have enough units. We won't even have to worry about that. We can run UARS and everything. But, for now, we're still a little behind on units. So we do need to be pretty cautious. And that's kind of why I'm covering this, because I want to make sure you guys are able to come up with solid strategies and workarounds for just the random stuff that you'll see out there. Okay. Bell's not doing so great here, but he is holding his own. We will need Hestia pretty soon, though. So hopefully. But as you can see, it is kind of, like the devs are very aware of the shortcomings of our units, and half of your units are on the game. So beating it with Bell is pretty much a doable thing. So that's just one unit. That takes my SR Bell out of play, and I won't be able to use him essentially in anything later. Though in fairness, I wouldn't want to anyway. Using these SRs in the beginning is very helpful. That's going to take me to battle number 2, whenever it decides to load, in which, and I won't run battle number 2 because it did get grisly, but when I ran battle number 2, I actually ran this exact team right, oh, no, not that team. I ran this team right here. Now, we had to run some high-end scene cards here. I had to level up a few end cards to get some extra oomph into my teams. You will see there's an SR scene card. I tried to avoid using it, but I had to. I really just had to. And I won't lie, this team, you go back and watch the VOD for the stream, I think this team literally came down to the final second to beat it. So Mikoto level 60, Haruhime level 50, and Wealth at level 60 and Lily at level 50. I really didn't want to level anybody up any further because I don't want to waste those items. We did have to use SR weapons. We couldn't use the R weapons. We had to use the SR weapons. So, you know, that is what it is. But we did beat it eventually, and it was a nightmare. It took like 4 or 5 tries, but we did eventually do it. So that's what I had for battle number 2. Now we're on battle number 3. And battle number 3 is I could finally start using my URs. Now, this actually, if I'm honest here, might be a bit overkill for this. So we're going to see how this plays out. Now, there's an outside chance I might be able to come back in and put weapons or scene cards on him. But I think with as powerful as this team is, I really don't see it being super necessary. Now, you will notice that Anya does not have an assist on her. That is a thing. That is a complete thing. You can run this without assists. And the whole reason I did that is because if I kind of go in here to Wealth, I have the filtration on, so it's only fire units. It's only going to be red units, and that gives me 3 options. I have 3 fire units left over that I can use for the final battle. And those are my 3 top tier units anyway, so I'm going to save those 3 for that. Also, if we go over here to assists, I have all my fire assists, and that leaves Lily, Hestia, and Finn for their final fights. So, in this particular situation, I think this is the optimal situation. Now, I want to say the goal here is always to beat this with as few items, as few units. Basically, we would love for the final battle to come down to within like a 10-second window. Less than that's great, but stressful. But 10 seconds is kind of like the sweet spot. Now, all these units being fairly high level, they're not level 80 or even level 70, but high-ish level URs, I feel pretty confident. Now, that confidence might be falsely placed. I haven't attempted this yet. This is literally try number 1. But let's see what happens here. And worst comes to worst, I can always go back in there. I can add in some scene cards. I can add in some weapons. We could really just kind of let things happen. There we go. And the nice part is everyone's bunched up now, so any kind of assist benefits should basically affect the whole team. There we go. And so far, really doesn't look like anybody's under threat. Really looks like this is going to be a no-brainer. I feel a little guilty using all these units for it, but, you know, it is what it is. Looks like we're moving on to the boss. Yep. Boss battle ahoy. Oh, we have 2 foes for the boss. But, I'm going to be honest, they're kind of just taking him out. Alright. The nice part is when we break his barrier, he's going to take an insane amount of extra damage. So what little health we are losing here really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Riveri, can you... Yeah, there we go. Orcs down, we're just dealing with the huge ant. So it's a done deal. Super easy, super done deal. Now, I will be the first to admit, I've gotten extraordinarily lucky with my UR pulls. So I don't expect everybody to kind of be on this level. However, I kind of want to talk strategy, and I really want to get out there. Now, if you do not have enough fire units to make this happen, don't despair. You can use some of your SRs. You can use some off-color units. This is not a terribly hard fight. You do just want to keep in mind that your opponents are going to be weak against fire units, so one good one there would be enough with maybe some other supporters or whatever to kind of keep everything in play. You really do want to think about the team longevity. You want to think about, you know, what are we going to be facing? What are we going to be fighting? If I go back in here and look at this, you'll notice that all of our opponents are wind type. So really anything but earth types would be great. So I could swap up. Let's go ahead and just pretend swap this up for a minute. If I go and sort and filter this, I can go to filtering. I can do wind, and I can do electric and water. Literally anything but earth. And that gives me a bunch of SRs up there that I can use. The SSRs are all, or I'm sorry, The SRs are all out of play. I can use some of the SSRs. I can use some of the weaker URs. It just gives me a lot of options on the table that I can use to beat this. So if you don't have 3 red URs, you could definitely come in here and fill spots, but you at least want one really good fire DPS. Even the assists really make a little bit less sense when it comes to the overall damage, because most of the time the main boost you get from that is to your power, and it's a lot less that. You can actually strategize and use an assist. Let's go ahead and look at assists real quick. Let's grab anything here, actually. Let's reset everything and just take a look at our assists. So I've got a ton of SSR assists down here. Like we've obviously got Miach, who could do an endurance buff to my team. We've got Osvi, who's going to do some attacking. He'll do attacking. You have healers. You've got, buffers. You've got literally everything at your disposal. So you can use anybody here. Like even an Earth unit, it really won't matter too much, so long as they are providing something to your unit that is functional, something that's going to help them get to the end. So do you really kind of start grasping, what do I... No, number one, plan for your final fight. And you always want your final fight to be your biggest, your best units, at least in that typing. So like anything after that final firefight on round, what is that, 8? Let's go back out here. Yeah, battle 9. So 9, 10, 11, and 12 I'm expecting are going to be really rugged. So I'm expecting to have to use my top 3 URs in each one of those. So start planning for that, work your way backwards, and then say who's expendable. And if you do run out of... Let's say if later on you need another fire unit, you need another earth unit, you need another water unit, go back and look at some of your early runs and see if you can kind of swipe somebody from that and maybe put on an extra scene card, put on an extra weapon or whatever. Or maybe you're lucky like me, you've got URs that can just hack and slash their way through it. But we'll come back, we'll talk about the mid section of these runs, and then we'll talk about the final 4 coming up soon. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share, and I'll be back with more Uncharted Battlefield and DanChro coming up real soon.